Dear children, good morning. I hope all of you are fine. Okay? Then welcome back to our history class. Today's thought: the pessimist sees difficulty in every opportunity, and the optimist sees opportunity in every difficulty, by Winston Churchill. Dear students, we always be optimistic. Okay? Yes. Now we can continue our lesson, Russian Revolution. Did you remember where did we stop the previous class? Okay, yes, very good. The previous class we discussed the civil war and the socialism in Russia. Clear? Yes. Then the civil war between the Bolsheviks and the Mensheviks. Okay, and after that the Bolsheviks, they established their power in Russia. Clear? And they introduced many new policies. Okay, and after that we discussed to make Russia as a socialist society. The government introduced 5-year plan. Did you remember? The first two 5-year plans, they gave importance for industrialization that affected the agriculture. Up to there we completed the previous day's class. And today I am going to start the new part from that lesson, that is Stalinism and collectivization program. Who was Stalin? Then he was the leader of Bolshevik party or Russian Communist party after the death of Lenin. Okay. He was born on 18th December 1818 and died on 5th March 1953. Okay. Then what did he introduce there to overcome the difficulties in Russia? That we can discuss now. He introduced the collectivization program, because we already discussed the first two 5-year plans that gave more importance for industrial growth and that led to the destruction of collectivization of agriculture in Russia and Soviet Russia, that faced an acute shortage of the food grains. So, to overcome these food grains, what were the reforms introduced by Stalin that we can discuss now? The government fixed the prices of the grains and forced the farmers to sell their products with the price fixed by the government. But the peasants were not ready to sell their products with price fixed by the government. Then in this situation, then Joseph Stalin, he became the leader of the Russian Communist Party after the death of Lenin. Okay, Lenin, he was died in 1924. After that, Joseph Stalin, he became the leader of the Communist Party in Russia. He introduced many emergency measures to overcome the food shortages. Okay, due to the destruction of the agriculture collectivization program, Russia faced the shortage of food grains. So, to overcome this, he introduced the various measures. And rich peasants and traders in the countryside, what did they do? They stocked the food grains with the expectation of increasing the prices of the food grains. They didn't supply the food grains. So, the speculations had to be stopped and supplies confiscated. Did you clear? Please see this agricultural reforms, the collectivization of agriculture, and in 1927 to 1928, towns in Soviet Russia, they faced an acute problem of grain shortage, or they faced the acute problem of grain supplies. And the government fixed the prices of the food grains, and the peasants were forced to sell their products with the price fixed by the government. Okay. But they refused to sell their products with price fixed by the government. Now, please see the picture. Joseph Stalin. Listen, he headed the party after the death of Lenin, and he introduced firm emergency measures. And he believed rich peasants and traders, they were holding the stocks without distribution. That caused for increasing the prices of food grains and the shortage of food grains. Clear? The measures introduced by Stalin to overcome this food shortage. First of all, in 1828, the party members, they toured the grain producing areas. They visited the grain producing areas and they supervised the grain collections and had raided the kulaks. Who were kulaks? The rich peasants or well-to-do peasants of Russia. They were known as the kulaks. The Communist Party members, they raided the kulaks and they realized that the grain shortages were partly due to the small size of land holdings. We discussed earlier, after the October Revolution, the Bolshevik government, what did they do? They distributed the land to the peasants. So, then each and every peasants, they had small plots of land. Instead of doing the collective farming, they started to do the individual farming. So again, Stalin introduced the collectivization program. Clear? Then he realized it was necessary to do the collectivization or collective farming to introduce the modern methods of farming. Listen, the small plots of land not possible to introduce the modern methods of farming and to increase the agricultural production. So, what did he do? He asked the people to do the cultivation in a collective farms. Clear? And to develop modern farms, it was necessary to eliminate the kulaks. Who were kulaks? The rich peasants or well-to-do peasants, and establish the state-controlled large farms, and large farm areas were controlled by the state. Clear? Please see the chart. The measures taken by Joseph Stalin or adopted. What were the measures adopted by him to overcome the food shortage? Okay. Please once again listen this. Party members, they visited the different areas and then they raided the kulaks and suggested for collective farms. Okay. Then next year, here the grain shortage were partly due to what? The small size of land holdings, and then eliminated the kulaks and established state controlled large farms. Clear? How did he introduce this collective farming? Okay. From 1929, all peasants were forced to cultivate in the collective farms or kolkhoz. Kolkhoz means collective farms. Listen, and the bulk of land and implements were transferred to the ownership of the collective farms. Listen, vast areas of land and implements were transferred to the ownership of collective farms, and peasants worked on the land and profit was shared among the peasants. Clear? But the peasants, they were not ready to do this collective farming. They didn't like that. Then these enraged peasants, they resisted the authorities and destroyed their livestock. Because of that, what happened there? Between 1929 and 1931, during this period, the number of cattle fell by 1/3. And who resisted the collectivization, they were punished and many were deported and exiled. They were forced to vacate from their own country and exiled to another country. Clear? Now, please see this chart. How did he introduce this collectivization program? Okay, I hope all of you understood. The main points are written here. Please go through this. Clear it? Then, the peasants argued that they were not rich and they were not against socialism. And Stalin's government allowed some independent cultivation. He allowed some of the farmers to do their own cultivation, but they were treated in an unsympathetic manner. Listen, and production did not increase immediately. Even though he introduced this collective farming method, the production did not increase immediately. And in 1930 and 1933, during this period, they faced the bad harvest. Then that led to famine, and in more than 4 million people died during the period of 1930 and 1933. Clear? What did we discuss? Please see the main points. Peasants, they did not want to work in collective farms, and Stalin's government allowed some peasants to do the independent cultivation, and in spite of this collectivization, production did not increase immediately. And in 1930 and 33, what happened? The bad harvest, and this led to famine, and more than 4 million people died in the history of Soviet Russia. Clear? Then many criticized the industrial production under the planned economy and the consequences of the collectivization. And Stalin charged these critics with the conspiracy against socialism. Some people they criticized the Stalin's collectivization program as well as the first two 5-year plans. Those who criticized, they were punished by Stalin. And by 1939, over 2 million people, they were in prisons or labor camps. And most of these people, they were innocent, but no one was there to speak for them. Listen, no one was there to speak for them. Clear? And they were forced to make false confession under torture and were executed. These people were forced to do the false confession and then they were executed. And most of these people, they were talented professionals. These talented professionals were executed. Clear? Next, we can discuss the global impact of the Russian Revolution or the results of the Russian Revolution. Then one of the most important results that we already discussed, then it put an end to the Tsarist autocracy in Russia and Russia became the first communist country. Listen, then communist parties were formed in many countries. Example, the Communist Party of Great Britain. Like that, the Communist Party were formed in many parts of the world. Clear? Now see this. Okay, the mixed reaction due to this Russian Revolution. Communist parties were formed in most of the countries, and example, the Communist Party of Great Britain. Then the Bolsheviks, they encouraged the colonial people to follow their experiments. Many non-Russian from outside the USSR, they participated in the Conference of the Peoples of the East in 1920. That means the other countries' people, they were inspired by the Russian Revolution and they participated in the Conference of the People of East in 1920. And the Bolsheviks, they founded an international union of pro-Bolshevik socialist parties known as the Comintern. What is meant by Comintern? That was an international union of pro-Bolshevik socialist parties. Listen. Now, please see this chart. The spread of socialism by Bolsheviks encouraged the colonial people to follow their experiment and held conference of the people of the East in 1920. Many non-Russians, they participated in this conference. Then they formed the Comintern. Clear? Next, another important result of the French Revolution. Then some of the people, they received education in the USSR's Communist University of the Workers of the East. Listen, they got education in this Communist University of the Workers of the East. And socialism became a global phase by the time of the outbreak of the Second World War. Do you remember Second World War in which year? 1939 it started and ended in 1945. Then during this period, the socialism that became a global phase. Clear? And the Russian industries and agriculture that had developed and a backward country had become a great power. The Russia, earlier it was a backward country, but later it became a great power. Another result. The Russian Revolution that denied the essential freedoms and carried out its developmental project through repressive policies. By the end of the 20th century, USSR had lost the international reputation as a socialist country because of the repressive measures followed by the Socialist Party. Okay. Then in each country, the ideas of socialism were rethought in different ways. Listen, different countries, they started to rethink the ideas of socialism in a various manner. Please see this chart. World's view on USSR. Slowly, the world realized the socialist movement was not up to mark in the Soviet Union. A backward country had become a great power, and it had denied the essential freedom to the citizens and used repressive policies. And at the end of the 20th century, the international reputation of the USSR as a socialist country that had declined. Listen, and but different countries in the world, they had adopted the ideas of socialism in a different way. Okay, I hope all of you understood. Today we discuss these results of the Russian Revolution as well as the Stalinism and collectivization program. Dear children, if you have any doubt, please contact me. Okay, and clear the doubt and complete the notes. Don't forget to watch the video and to complete the notes. I will send the questions. Okay.